gentlemen, the show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, welcome to another edition of that Sunday night calling. Joined by our regular panel hosts, Rich Bates, Stephen and Dan. Good evening, Stephen. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad at all, mate. Getting there, so yeah, it's a better feeling this weekend than last weekend. But it is still there.
You've had quite the busy weekend this weekend. Do you want to tell the listeners what you was up to yesterday?
No, it was quite good, mate. I was just dossing and chilling. No, I mean,
Was
they know. No, they know what I was doing. I was yesterday. I was Santa Claus for my boys' school, so I don't care. It was good.
Anyone that wants to see photographic evidence of that, drop me a message at the end of the show, and I can send that over to you.
Don't worry, or just wait till the Christmas special when I'll actually dress up as Santa. So it's no thing. Or go on my TikTok account, go on the podcast TikTok account, and you'll see the video I posted there for the sweet shop. I am dressed up as Santa. Make sure you give it a like and a share. But yeah, it's all there. So Daniel, how you doing, fella?
Good evening, mate. I'm very well. I have to say it was a very swazzy introduction there. Nice new video.
Yeah, that's it, and it's getting there. The only thing is that we are missing someone tonight, and I don't know where he's gone or what it is, but I suppose we can get away with playing this video.
As in, which one of you knows this missing podcaster the best?
So yeah, maybe we should put a bounty on him. Do you know what I mean? So much, find Omar. Maybe that's a competition for future days. So good evening, everyone in the chat. We'll pop that through. A couple of places where we'll start, I suppose. Let's start on you, Daniel. Yesterday's result, 1-1. Realistically, the penalty, shouldn't have been a penalty, to be honest. I suppose in real time probably was, but if we had done, thank you. It's just gone up. There is decorations coming, but the Christmas tree was put up today. So
Yeah, I mean, firstly, obviously the penalty. We've seen it back now. I couldn't really tell from where I was whether it was a penalty or not. The biggest kind of thing for me, I've seen you laughing at the comment. Do you want to put it up quickly?
That's outrageous.
Oh God, I love our fans.
Right, I'll try and resume some kind of normality now. Although this is turning into the new normal for this show.
That's it. Yeah.
But no, the thing was, for me, I couldn't see it at the time. But the thing that irked me was that Clark shouldn't have been on the pitch about 10 minutes earlier. He should have been sent off for pulling back. I think it might have been Norton Cuffy as he brought the ball out of defence, and he just pulled him back. All we asked for is a bit of consistency, and instead what we get is a booking from one of our players protesting for the referee not doing his job properly, which was frustrating to say the least. Other than that, I thought kind of first 20 minutes was a really shit game yesterday. You could see Clark was going to be their main outlet throughout the game. I thought we was a bit better kind of second bit of the first half, and then second half, obviously we knew they were going to come out all guns blazing. And other than that one bit of, the refereeing being incompetent, which is just a weekly thing in the Championship now, it wasn't a bad performance. There was shades of Rowett about it, but Edwards isn't going to be able to completely change the wheel immediately. This is Rowett's group of players. He needs to find a way where he can get his style of play across to him, and also a style of play that's familiar to the players. But considering the week we just had in terms of losing 3-0 and 3-1, there was positives that you can actually build on from yesterday's game, which weren't there for the previous 2 games. Don't know what you think on that, Stephen.
I have a slightly different opinion on the game overall. I thought first half was probably one of the most boring halves of football. Not an awful lot happened for the first 20, 30 minutes. Really good goal by Nisbet, I thought. We'll probably come on to him a little bit later, but took it really, really well. Great cross from Norton Cuffy, something that we've been missing, that end product.
I think that was his first. That's his first assist for us, by the way, as well.
Yeah, it was. I actually saw that off of an Arsenal Twitter account.
Yeah, I'm not going to claim that. Sorry. But...
yeah, no, I saw that as well. So good for Norton Cuffy. I thought he had a good game. Obviously, he was voted man of the match, which is again something I'm going to come on to a little bit later. The changing of what's happened at the Den. However, I thought we come out in the second half, and I thought we looked quite strong. We had a couple of chances. Nothing too much to shout about. However, the fact that we changed to the Gary Rowett style of playing, the sit back and defend, we allowed them to come back into the game. I know you're not always going to have all of the ball and dominate the game, but because we changed, we allowed them really to get back in the game, and ultimately it led to the penalty. I agree. If you slow it down and look at the replay, Leonard wins the ball. However, in real time, you can't really argue necessarily. It looked like a penalty. Really, if no complaints necessarily real time. It's just the other things. Jack Clark shouldn't have been on the pitch. The handball in the build up. That comment there, I think we got it right from a defensive point of view for the majority of the game. However, it did stifle our attack, and it was only that when Sunderland scored, we let the reins off, and we had some more chances. So, good to stop the rot of defeats at home. Positives to take. However, I don't think we should see Joe Edwards go down the Gary Rowett style of football too often, because it just allows teams and oppositions back into the game. Without that, I don't think Sunderland have a sniff at goal, really. Bart had nothing to do.
No, and am I maybe being critical and saying he possibly could have done better for the penalty, because it does go straight underneath him? I think,
yeah,
mate, I've never been a goalkeeper, so maybe it's hard for me to comment. I think Bart himself will probably be disappointed he didn't save it, to be honest. I think as a goalkeeper, when you go the right way for a penalty, you probably expect to save it.
Absolutely. I think he'll be disappointed with that. You can always tell as well, because the reaction of the crowd, when the guy hit, I think it was Clark, hit the penalty, they the cheer started to go up, because Bart obviously went the right way, and it was the sort of groans of the fact that it hit the back of the net. Bart's been superb over the last couple of games, so I'm not going to berate him too much, but he probably should have done better.
I think this is kind of how I just think this comment kind of sums up what I waffled on about for a minute in terms of how I thought the game went, to be honest. I think Frankie, personally, for me, has kind of summed it up perfectly. I thought the second part of the first half, we showed what we really wanted to do. And yeah, I think the reaction to them scoring was actually quite good. It actually seemed to bring us out a little bit. And usually where it'd be us running down the clock after conceding to go and equaliser, it actually brought us back to, brought our performance levels up a little bit.
Oh, it did. It did. The last 15 minutes of the game, we had a couple of big chances that on another day perhaps Longman's shot goes in rather than comes back out and offside, etc. I think taking Kevin Nisbet off, for me, I thought he looked quite good. I thought his link-up play was very good. His hold-up play probably could have been a little bit better, but it did improve in the second half, and we almost went back to the classic Tom Bradshaw chasing down lost causes rather than actually try to play a little bit of football. But
do you think that's minute management for Nisbet, because he has been struggling fitness-wise, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that were complaining of why he was taken off on social media after the game. I didn't necessarily go down the route of why he was taken off, because Edwards said in the week, he almost gave the game away and said he's close to starting, but we're managing it, and we've got Tom Bradshaw who presses for us. he was always going to start that game yesterday after scoring at Ipswich. He can't, Bradshaw hasn't scored for a while. Nisbet got the goal, so he was always going to play.
I think on performances it was merited as well. I think Bradshaw hasn't, he hasn't scored, and I think Nisbet, when he has played, has looked okay. I was quite glad to see him start, and I had a chat with a couple of people who I sit with, and we was all of the opinion that if you give the ball in the box to Nisbet, he's going to cause damage. The only problem is the way we play. We ask our strikers to do a lot more than just inside the box.
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? I was a little bit critical of Edwards, and it's the only time I've really had something negative to say about him as an individual, when he made the quote and said about Tom Bradshaw being difficult to drop because of his work rate and how hard he runs and puts in a shift. And whilst that's true, and I'm not disrespecting Tom Bradshaw's work rate and commitment, he's that's his game. But we want our strikers to score goals. I thought Nisbet's finish against Ipswich was pretty good, considering all things considering. His finish on the game yesterday, very good. It's a shame that we had to take him off. But as I say, I think it was a case of managing his minutes. Yeah. And we're going to be going into a period now. We've got this
intense
week
games.
off. Yeah.
Pretty much a game every 3-4 days from next Saturday, pretty much until that FA Cup third round, which we will touch on that later on. There isn't really too much to say because it's not a great draw. I know Mickey's going through the comments. Some of them have been up already, but I'm just going to pop one up quickly from Le Lion Blue. Good evening to you. Was at the game yesterday and went walkabout to say hello. Unfortunately, couldn't find us. There wasn't that many of us there actually yesterday, to be fair. I don't know how many of us
All of you were there.
All of us there. I got that wrong then. Well, Ben wasn't, obviously.
But from me, you and Ben.
I was there.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah. Okay. There's more of us there. We don't all sit together, unfortunately.
Were you there?
I was there.
Really?
Yeah, I got photographic evidence of me being there.
No. I thought you were watching it on thingy. It was at Ipswich, wasn't it?
Ipswich, yeah. We are working on. I'll let Mickey take it away as the admin man.
No. Go on. Okay. Go on. Just one thing. There was a comment that come up earlier which said I sound like Mr. Buy for now, which is great. You picked that up because we are going to be talking about that in a little bit further along, and hence why the over-the-top introduction at the beginning was I'm being, I'm just thought, fuck it, I can't get the manager's job. We might as well have a go at another job and see if we can line that one up instead.
There you go.
Go on, Dan. You tell the audience, Dan. Go on, my son. Let's hang on. We need you there, don't we? Go on. There we go.
After the next home game, Huddersfield Town on the 16th, we are planning. Bloody hell, you've really put me on the spot here, haven't you, chaps? We are planning to do something. We are all going to go to Harry's Bar after the game for a drink. If anyone wants to come and say hello and enjoy a little Christmas drink with us, then obviously we'd love to see as many of you as possible. Stephen might have his shorts on. You never know. I know it's obviously mid of December, but he wants to keep everyone happy. And we will all be there. Even Ben's coming down from the north to come and see us.
I don't want to keep the people happy. I'm not wearing shorts.
Okay, well, there you go. And I know we did speak about possibly trying to get a live show in. We are still working on it. It's not quite going to be possible just due to timings for.
We just want to show what would be good, and ideally, if we can, either a player or something there, so that there's something there to. If we're going to do a charity night, we want someone there to help out. And at the moment, it's just 2 weeks to try and work it around. And also, we want a venue where it is just us there. Because I think if we're to say, it's whatever price, £5, £10, whatever it is to come for charity, because everything is going to go to charity. What you don't want is suddenly, if you're in a pub and all of a sudden people walk in. But, we are working on it, and we will make sure that it's it will be a good night. So if you like Dan said, if you want to come and find us and have a beer with us, we will be in Harry's Bar after the game on the Huddersfield game. Most of us will be, me, you, Dan, and Ben, definitely there. I think it was a game where all of us were going. Yeah, and now I think that a couple of them aren't. I think Chris is having to leave the country. for work.
Sounds ominous.
I was about to say, yeah, that sounds very
Yeah,
suspicious all of a sudden.
For work, and I don't think Joe can be there, and I think Omar's got his Christmas party, so
He's umming and ahhing about it because he wants to go to a work Christmas do on a Saturday. I'll come back. There was a comment there on. I'm sorry, Mickey. I feel like
that's quite an interest. No. Listen. I will take the comments off.
Okay.
You will do whatever you want with the comments. We're training Dan now. Danny's becoming a host.
Am I hosting training?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. You're in hosting. On the job training.
I saw this one, and obviously it's got my name in, so I'm quite happy to pick this up. Am I worried? A bit more worried than I was last time. I will be honest with you. My biggest fear out the bottom four teams was QPR getting a few results together, and that's what they've done. Because they have good players. It was just a case of getting them playing away an actual football team plays, and not the way Gareth Ainsworth gets his teams to play football. So I'm a little bit worried about them. I'm not really too worried about the rest of them still. And I think one team to watch out for second half of the season that I just personally think is going to sink like a stone is going to be Preston, because they weren't great when we played against them. They weren't great against QPR. Whenever I've watched Preston, I've never been like amazed by them. And I know football isn't played completely off stats, but if you actually look at statistically how they're doing, they've actually conceded in the last 12 games. They've scored the third least amount of goals and conceded the second most. And yeah, I just think they're going to slide off. So at this moment in time, no, I'm not worried. Maybe ask me this question in 2 months when the January transfer window's been and gone and we're another 8 games down the line, and you might get another slightly different answer. But at the moment, I'm a little bit more worried, but not too worried.
Okay.
I'm gonna interject there. I am starting to get a little bit concerned, personally, only on the basis that the home form, whilst we all think at some point it's going to turn around and we are going to start winning some games at home, I'm concerned that if we continue on the run that we are, and the away fixtures coming up are pretty tough.
Next two are pretty brutal. Yeah. And then we got Stoke. That could be quite a big game actually. We got Stoke and Huddersfield back to back, haven't we?
And QPR. All three of them in a row.
M2 back to back, and then that could be quite a. And then Norwich, who aren't exactly flying at the moment.
No, so I'm just
there are
some
winnable games coming up.
But you've got to go and win them, though. That's the problem, isn't it?
That's the problem, isn't it? I would be a little bit surprised, to be honest, if Stoke, the way they're going, don't change their manager before that game.
And that's it, isn't it? It's you don't know what the other teams are actually going to be doing. I just think I'm not saying we are definitely in a relegation battle, because we're not. But I was saying on the game yesterday with a couple of the fellas that sit around me that if you're not going to make changes and get some of the youngsters in, perhaps Adam Malachi is one that I've been mentioning quite a lot, and you're not doing it now when you've got a buffer.
Banging the drum for him.
You've got a buffer at the minute, but if you go into those games and you're only 1 point ahead, 2 points ahead, he's already under pressure as it is anyway, as a young player coming into the team. It's not the time to be experimenting. So, yeah, it's not panic stations, but I am a little bit concerned that the away form could drastically fall off a cliff, because we could quite easily, if you include Ipswich, have 3 away defeats in a row, and that then is a big problem. But I could be sitting here in a couple of weeks' time and we could have won both of those away games. So who knows? But
the next 2 games concern me, especially Cardiff now. Well, I mean, Leicester was going to be a tough game. Cardiff's going to be even tougher now. If you look at this comment from MFC 1885, no Saville, no Denore in midfield.
No who?
No Saville.
Yeah, and who was the other player? Denore. What did you say? You're getting used. You're trying to bring in that fucking pizza song, aren't you?
He was Spanish, mate. I thought he was Spanish. No Denore and no Saville. So that almost means you'd say by default that Campbell and Mitchell will probably be the 2 that play in front of the defence, unless A, changes formation, or B, he maybe moves Honeyman maybe into the middle of the park.
Do you think that he might bring in a couple of youth on that game? The fact that Cooper's out.
I don't know who he would bring. I mean, the main centre half for the youth team last season was Okola. Is it Okoli? I think it's Okoli off the top of my head. I can't remember his. It's
Bromley.
Yeah, the lad who's on loan at Bromley. Yeah, and he's there till January. I mean, maybe in January he'll come back. I think he might get a look in January. I'd also personally wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Wright get recalled from his loan at Salford because I think he's only played in the Pizza Cup there. So that's a concern. Yeah, he isn't really playing. Here's another possible option: Mitchell and Leonard. But would you drop Leonard, or would you move Leonard after? Because other than the penalty, I thought he had a great game yesterday. He got absolutely battered from pillar to post, but I just thought he had a brilliant game yesterday, and on the whole, kept Clark, their best player, very, very quiet for most of the game.
100%. And I've been slaughtered on social media over the years for saying that Ryan Leonard was a good player and he's someone that we needed to get in our team. And there's a lot of people at the moment that are saying, and I'm not the only one, there are other people that have said this, but there's a lot of people now that are realizing just how good Leonard is when Leonard's fit. The problem is actually keeping him fit. So that's obviously problem number one. The second thing, I actually would move Leonard into the midfield alongside Billy Mitchell. And the reason
would you just on that, would it be Norton Cuffy that you'd play at right back, or would you Danny McNamara was on the bench? Would you bring him in for right back?
I would put Danny McNamara in at right back.
I think that's a very valid point.
Cuffy would stay where he was. He had a good game. He was very good. And with the midfielders available, Mick, I know what you're going to say, but next week we've got...
No, I am going to say it. You can try and cut me off to say it. You stitched it up at the beginning of the show.
Go on, Mickey, you say it, and then Stephen comes in after.
So, wow, he's playing this host, isn't he? Hang on, fucking hell. We need to move him out there, don't we? There we go. Stephen, this weekend you have basically been drinking in the haters' arms, and I think one of your comments were, I now understand why all those people have been saying Billy Mitchell is shit all season and last because of his backward passing or his thing on Saturday.
I stand
but
by
now you want to play him. Now you want to play him in midfield against Cardiff.
Yeah, because the options available, the actual midfielders we've got are Alan Campbell, Billy Mitchell, and Ryan Leonard, who's been playing at right back. I haven't seen nothing from Alan Campbell. I mean, it is going to be Campbell and Mitchell. I think we all know that. But if it was me, it would be Leonard and Mitchell because I think they're the best that we've got available.
Fuck it, why don't you just put Saville in midfield?
Because
he can't play,
suspended.
Is he? What's not Saville? Fucking Saville. Fleming, I mean.
That would scare me personally.
Here's another comment I'm going to flash up on screen because we saw this man get minutes in that position in pre-season.
That's a good point, Dan. You're good at this, aren't you? You're a good host.
Thank you. Yeah. Is this a viable?
It's an option, but if we've not seen SA get any game time in any circumstances, I don't know. I just think next week is going to be a real patched up team. There was a really interesting comment. I'll try and find it if one of you can, about if Hutchinson doesn't play next week, which I think he will. Who is the captain? Cooper's not available. Hutchinson
Saville would have been the next best pick for me, and he's suspended. Maybe Bartman.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not a fan.
I'll tell you who I would. We've had a conversation about him in the past, and I held a reservation because he's new to the club. But I was very impressed by him yesterday to the point where I just think, fuck it, I think he's captain material. I'll put Wes Arden.
Oh, Wes Arden, yeah, maybe.
I'm not a massive fan of having a striker as a captain. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's just a personal thing. I don't really like it. I prefer it to be defensive midfielder or a defender. Maybe a keeper. I think
Ryan Leonard.
Leonard. Maybe I don't think he's loud enough on the pitch. Maybe Honeyman, if Honeyman plays in front of the midfield, because he has captain experience from being captain at Hull and Sunderland.
I don't know. Next week's team is going to be very interesting because as it stands, we know that there's no Denor, no Saville, and no Cooper. Now, if there's any knocks or anything that comes up, because that happens, like as Millwall do, they don't tell us anything, and then all of a sudden, at the weekend, someone's out for 3 months. So we can all expect that.
18,
It's going to be a very.
Go
on. Bring that back. Sorry.
No, I was only going to say 1824. It don't look like Santa's got her at the moment, mate. But come Friday's show, it will look like Santa's got her because my missus has only put a tree up so far and a tree there and a tree there. So yeah,
we're getting a couple of comments on who we would possibly play. We'll come on to a game. Fleming might be something that we come on to tonight. If not, we've probably got another bit of stuff to discuss in a possible midweek show. If we can get the numbers for it, of course, that is always the problem. But we will do our best. So, but there's
get the numbers. Yeah, sorry, not the yeah. When you say get the numbers, you mean get the numbers with us guys, not with the viewers.
Not you guys. We're never doubting your support. It's us guys having a lack of space in our diaries.
I think personally, next week is going to be probably the most. If you're going, I take my hat off to you because I think next week could be a real difficult watch. You never know how, maybe away from home against a side that's not Ipswich, we might be able to get at them a little bit. But with so many key players missing, the only good thing about that for me is that we're going to have potentially a fully fresh and fit Sav for Leicester, and also Cooper.
4 goals rather than 5.
But other than that, it's another game for next week that I'm concerned about.
I think for me, if it's not good, I think he will. I mean, Hutchinson's audition though didn't exactly go well against Ipswich, did it?
No, but it also, let's face it, it's Ipswich. It's literally every player after the game would have come off with no credit. So
no, that is true. I mean, we had a big me, Ben, and Omer had a big discussion about Hutchinson, whether we think he's up to it, and I just think he might be coming towards the Alex Pearce stage, and that's nothing against Hutchinson because I think he's better than what Pearce was when he was at the club and when he was in this stage. And Hutch has been a brilliant player for us, but 1, he's injury prone, and 2, I think the squad's better from when Pearce was at the club, to the point where now that's no disrespect to Hutchinson, but we're just a level higher, I want to say.
I can't agree with that personally, but I berated Omar at Ipswich away about the show because I listened to it on the way to the game.
Oh, that went well, didn't it? Won't be doing that again.
And I'm not convinced that Hutchinson's finished. However, after in a patched up side, him coming back in, it's not going to do him any favours. But again, you've got to play someone there, haven't you?
Mike put a post on a little while ago. In fact, 20 minutes ago, fuck me. Which if you don't see your post come up or it flicks, don't worry, I will be coming back to him because we highlight him. What do you boys make on Mike's comment that when the subs come on, it seemed to make us weaker? I mean, I don't understand why he was taking off. Why he took off? Who did he take off? Nesbitt, didn't he?
He took Nesbitt off. I think that was more minute management.
Possibly injured, or he's not.
I think he's nursing him back because he had a big injury last season. He's already had an injury this season. I think he's just nursing him back. As Stephen said, we have a lot of games coming up, haven't we? I think he's just nursing him back. I'm just getting my phone up to see the substitutions he made yesterday.
The subs were we brought on Longman and Nisbet for
Longman and Bradshaw for Honeyman and Nisbet.
Sorry, yeah.
And
Longman
then later on brought Watmore on for Fleming.
I don't necessarily agree that the subs made us weaker. The subs killed our momentum because we wasn't able to play the same way.
I just want to jump in quickly. I just want to say I actually respect Edwards for showing us a set of bollocks there, really. I don't think under Rowett, Fleming would have been hooked no matter how bad game he was having, because yesterday he had one of his worst games, I thought, for us. I don't think Rowett would have had the bollocks to really hook Fleming, to be honest. So I salute the fact Edwards did have the bollocks to do it.
And I also think on that, it's interesting. He took him off at Ipswich. Admittedly, they all could have gone off at Ipswich. He took him off against Coventry. Admittedly, we were 2-0 down at the time. And he's taken him off yesterday when we're trying to find a winner. That's the key thing. It's easy to take him off when you're not winning the game and you've probably got no chance of doing it. But when you need a goal and it's Fleming that's being taken off, I think that's a very interesting. I think that's a very interesting point. And I agree. I don't think I've said this, and Mike, who sits in front of me, well, obviously I see him pretty much every home game, will know. I was banging on about this. I am losing patience with Zian Fleming. I mean, Duncan Watmore is chomping at the bit.
Yeah, 100% with that. I mean, Andrew makes
a heated topic on our show last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew makes a thing there. Was it a case that in the second half we just wasted a number of chances? Bradshaw had 3 chances, Fleming in the box losing the ball, which I think if he'd have just passed that through, we could have possibly scored there. He just decided to be a bit selfish and hang on to the ball a bit too long. Even with their goal, we should have comfortably won that. Realistically, we should have been 2-0 up before that penalty, shouldn't we? Or 3.
We wasted an opportunity to win the game because we decided to go and play a little bit defensively and a little bit negatively. And I'm not saying... Do you think that's a fitness
thing or is that a mentality thing?
A bit of both. I think that because there's no way that the players decide that all 11 of them are not fit enough, so they're going to sit back on 20 yards deeper than where they started the second half.
Good evening, chaps.
Good evening, Chris. It potentially is a fitness thing. However, I accept that there are occasions where, and Edwards will learn from this, that you can't just go gung-ho in this division. You are going to have to soak up a little bit of pressure because there are some good teams. I just felt we took our foot off the gas when we were ahead of the game and it allowed Sunderland to get back into it. But I do agree that Tom Bradshaw, the one-on-one, I know you'll never ever know, but if Kevin Nisbet goes through on that one-on-one, he lifts it over the goalkeeper. It might get cleared off the line or whatever, but he doesn't smash it straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, you would have had a perfect view of that as well, Stephen, wouldn't you? Because you sit right behind that.
I know.
And also the fact that the goalkeeper was pretty much on the floor as Bradshaw went to hit it. You must. I've never been a footballer, really. That's not. I don't know for sure, but if you're a striker, he goes away with an international side. He's played a lot of football. If you see the goalkeeper go down, you don't just smash it straight at him. Well, I wouldn't. So I'm not sure. And again, it's a bit of Tom Bradshaw bashing. Sorry, Ben.
Good evening,
but
Ben.
We did miss chances, but I think we handed the initiative back to Sunderland personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we let them get back into it. They were doing what they needed to do. So, yeah, SA and Amaku play together on a regular basis. No, they don't.
They were for the youth team. I think that's...
I suppose, yeah.
We just haven't seen them. Can we move it on a little bit now? Gents, we've spoke obviously a bit about it. I was just going to...
Well, I've got a question here before we do.
Go for it. And then...
He's dishing out the rules here, Mick.
I know. I'm letting him get away with it for now.
I need to try and find the comment as well. Say what you need, and then I'm trying to find the comment now.
That's an interesting comment, if true. The ref yesterday has given Sunderland a penalty in 4 consecutive games now. Odds of that happening are less than 0.5%. Clearly, I'm not going to say that. That's your words. I'm fully aware I'm a sad fucker for doing that maths.
There was talk that wasn't there that I thought it was 3 consecutive games. Yesterday may have been the 4th. It's a little bit
funny.
I don't know. It's a little bit. There's something in it, perhaps, but at the same time, let's be honest. The actual decision, until you slow it down, you can understand what you. If that was at the other end, you'd want that penalty. You'd 100% want that penalty. So
100%.
I wonder do you think the referee maybe caved in the fact he had the Sunderland fans in front of him? Do you think if that was down the end of the pitch, that wouldn't have got given?
Possibly.
I think he's obviously going to be influenced.
But even when I watched a video what someone posted yesterday, I think the club or whatever, and it looked as if Leonard didn't touch the ball. it looked at first look as if that Jack Clark just tapped it forward, just played it forward, and sort of played it quick so that he saw Leonard coming in, and it was going. And it wasn't until I think it's Muzzy Goat from TikTok posted a super slow version of it, and then you could actually see that actually Leonard did get the ball, but he just followed through. And I suppose in the letter of the law, following through and taking the player out, because he only just touched it, I suppose is a penalty. But anyway, look, we move on from that. We've talked about it there. This is more of a general question from Alex S. before, and it's a good topic to move on to because I think we can get people into the chat and everything else with it. We seem to have too many 20-minute players and not enough 90-minute players at the moment. Alex, if you can comment on this as well. Who would you class as 20-minute players, and who would you class in the current team as players good enough to play 90 minutes? Gents, which one do you want to come in?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I think Duncan Watmore obviously doesn't have 90 minutes in the tank. That's quite an obvious one. I don't think Ryan Longman particularly has 90 minutes in the tank.
Would you want to see Ryan Longman on the pitch for 90 minutes?
No, I wouldn't. But he's definitely one that I don't think can do it over a 90-minute period. It's really difficult. I think the fitness is obviously an issue. We all know that. But I don't know specific play apart from, I say, Watmore and Longman that can't do it for more than 20 minutes. I just think that we're starting at the moment in most games as the unfitter side, if that's the best way of putting it. Dan?
Yeah, sorry, I was just looking at something there. Yeah,
Concentrate. You're fucking hosting. Come on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm slacking already. There we go. Yeah, I just what more good? We've got too many injury-prone players. I just think the fact we speak about having injury-prone players. We speak about what a squad we have. Then they all seem to go off injured. This is probably why we have a lot of the players that we seem to have because they're available for cheaper. Like, why is Joe Bryan available on a free transfer? A player that was a few years ago one of the best left backs in this league because he had his injury problems, struggled to get a game where he's been. So we've got too many players like that.
That is a big point, and we've always done that, haven't we? We've always had to sacrifice on fitness to have the quality. I think Mason Bennett is a real prime example of that. Mason Bennett was a good footballer.
Nail on the head.
It's just you literally just like flicked him, and that
did he ever complete a full 90 minutes for us?
I think he did one. He did one that he was always taken off, or something always happened. But Leonard's the same. Leonard is very, very good, but can't string more than maybe 8 or 9 games before he's out for a couple of months. Joe Bryan, again, a really prime example. Sarkic looks to be that way. I know he's been back on the bench.
He's back on the bench, and obviously Bart's been playing well, so there's no reason to change that. But you can't imagine that the club's spending 1.25 million.
I would just like to say for you, good evening, Kelly. Kelly, I'd love to get you on a Who Are You? If you want to do the Who Are You and take the 20 questions about your time following Millwall. I think you've been following Millwall a while with some of the ups and downs, and obviously with the boxing side and stuff, it'll be good to have some stories and stuff there, mate. So yeah, if you're interested, drop us an email. Or drop us a DM on Twitter. I think you'd be a good guest to have on. So, and if there is anyone else who wants to do the Who Are You before Bobby jumps in, I know Bobby, just get in touch, mate, and give us a date that you want to do it, and we'll do it. But anyone else, if you want to come on and do the 20 questions, we are in the process of setting up Series 2 as we speak. And we are looking to try and get some out over Christmas. So if you are up for it, then get in touch. Takes about maybe an hour and 20 minutes, depending how long your stories are, to record. So, yeah, all good. I don't think anyone minds us being a bit more defensive for periods of the game, but we need to do more than just hoof the ball away. Creating outlets to pass should be a priority. I think that's true.
I I'm gonna come back on that. It's not that I'm against us being defensive and trying to be a little bit more conservative. It's a problem when you're on top in the game and you had a couple of chances and then you just sit back and allow the initiative to just be taken away from you. If the opposition, like if Sunderland had come out in the second half absolutely flying, then yeah, by all means, soak up a little bit of pressure. But they didn't. They didn't. We were in control of the game. We had a couple of chances, and then the subs were made and the tactics changed. That's where I have a little bit of an issue with it.
Brian is made out of Pringles. Or, because it's Christmas, Kringles.
I like this one, Mickey, about one of our players who I've given a bit of a berating to. So I'm going to lay off him tonight, I think.
I think that's probably true, though. Wallace is a 10-minute player. I mean, Chris made a comment earlier and said, you know, do we really want to go on a cup run this year, which is probably a result of getting Leicester in the first round? Do we want to go on a cup run and potentially sacrifice, the league? But, I mean, listen, we've got to look at it realistically. This is the longest we've ever been in the Championship. I mean, the laws of average and everything else potentially says at some point, you know, can
you're
we
going to
keep
leave
this
it,
up?
whether it's one way or another. You're probably going to leave it, and given our history, it's probably going to be the way we don't want it to be.
Yeah, and that is why this season it is so important. It's so important that we don't go down the law of averages. There's TV. There's another TV deal coming. There's more money coming into the club, and it's so important that they find a way of picking up some points, because we can't go down this season with again. I'm not.
See now, sorry, Danny. With that comment there, Kelly managed the Millwall celebs supporters team versus Man United, same people, at Millennium Stadium a week before the FA Cup final. I played in it and we won 5-2. Well, Danny, you've got to come on a Who Are You as well then, and Kelly, we've definitely got to get in, because Christ, I wonder. So yeah, let us know who played in that then, Dan. Was it a full 11-a-side? Sorry, that was a bit off topic, but that just
I'm gonna move it on in a second.
You can move it on all you want, but just when you go through the comments, go through the order. You keep jumping.
You're looking away and missing half the fact I put half of them on the screen.
I can see they highlight my side when you put them up.
Yeah, I know. I can see.
It's like doing a show of a married couple here. Jesus, sort yourselves out, guys.
Right. Anyway, we're gonna move. We are gonna move on.
Punches facing.
We are going to move on, because this is something me and Stephen both said we wanted to discuss tonight. And I've seen a few comments about the atmosphere, and I do agree. I think it wasn't the best we've had it, but it's been better. It was better yesterday.
Better.
Probably one of the better ones we've had this season. Would you say, Stephen?
Yeah, it was. And I actually think, in a way, I'm stealing this off my dad, who said this to me yesterday, and I was thinking about it, and it's actually spot on. When you get a dodgy ref like you had yesterday, the fans start to react to it. Yeah. It brings us together, and it does. You do get a little bit more rolled up. You do get that little bit of.
And then when they sub like a little knobhead on, like Alex Pritchard as well.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah. It's those things that actually inspired the crowd a little bit yesterday. It wasn't back to what it was. I'm not saying that at all, but it certainly did help. It certainly did help with getting the fans on Edwards and the team side.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. So I'm going to bring this comment onto the screen, Stephen, and I'm going to let you express your thoughts on pre-match, and then I'll go after, but I'll let you go first.
Right. First of all, when they play the songs, the music, they put out a tweet, didn't they? And they turn around and they say, "Oh, we're gonna, pick your song," and we all do it. We all send our requests in, but it doesn't mean that I want to listen to the song, and I can't hear the bloke next to me speak. I can't hear the bloke next to me talk. Sorry, it's so loud.
Do you think
it's ridiculous?
Do you think that's because they seem to be playing it through the PA speakers, rather than like proper speakers?
Whatever it is, they need to sort it out, because you can't have a conversation with How many times I'm going to borrow Ben for this? Ben tweeted yesterday evening that there's nothing quite like bringing people together like following football and also music. He was at a gig last night. That's why he tweeted that. But it's true. The people you go to football with, you make friends at football, and you don't. Sometimes you sit around these people and you might nod at them, you might sort of say hello, but you you talk to them, you make friends with them. You can't have a conversation with your mates in the ground. It's too loud. So that's one problem. The second thing, and it is so tragic that we're doing this, the whole when the players come out and they stop everything and they read out the team sheet, is just no.
We
Just
practically
no.
finished let them come by the time the players were on the pitch.
That as well, the timing was absolutely awful. It's just
literally finished the
it's
song.
it's too generic. You go to every other club up and down the country and they do that. That's not us. That's not what we want. That's not what we're about. It's ridiculous. And finally, on the man of the match. Man of the match is okay. We all have our opinions. We all think that there's certain players had a good game or a bad game and this, that, and the other. But to announce a man of the match over the tannoy during the game, again, it's not Millwall. It's just not.
Why are they doing
I don't
that
like
now?
it.
How can you
I don't
do that
like
now?
it.
It's
Because-
the sponsor's
It's the
choice.
sponsors,
that
isn't
man of the
it?
Right.
They've sat in the corporate bit and they've picked their vote and then it gets relayed through.
That was
Fine,
the
do
first
a
time they've
present-
done that.
Yeah, but
So is that
they-
purely obviously they're charging a fortune for sponsorship then, and then obviously they've got to they obviously offer.
It's never been like that before. They just get a little presentation with the player in the players' lounge after the game, don't
Yeah,
they?
they've always
normally,
done that.
yeah.
They've always done that, but this is now all it is just that they've probably just added on a thing just to. It's probably a little bonus, isn't it? That gets you a little bit more exposure if you're the sponsor. But and there's another thing there, the video that they show, right?
Hang on, can
We've
I
always-
jump in? Can I jump in very quickly? I don't
Go
like the
on.
video, but I get to see myself on the big screen every week. So on that basis, it might be allowed to stay for a bit.
Is that
What's that, for
Plymouth
Plymouth?
away? Is that
It
Plymouth
was
away?
from Plymouth
Yeah.
away.
That
Fucking hell,
video,
yeah.
that video, we've all seen Tim Cahill's goal. It's one of the best goals we've scored in our history in terms of what it meant. But we don't
Fuck me,
need
we
to
could all
see it before.
recreate it. We could
Yeah,
all
every home
recreate
game.
it. We've seen it that many times.
It's ridiculous. We don't need someone. There's a comment there. I'm gonna just. Oh, Dan, it's MFC 1885. I'll let you. But we don't need a war cry. We don't need
No.
that. We're seeing Zian Fleming score a penalty at Blackpool. Didn't really mean anything. We're
I was
seeing
about to say, it shows how
goals-
far we've fallen
Yeah,
in the
goals-
last few
All
months.
right, here's
It's
a question
embarrassing.
to you.
It's
Here's a
embarrassing.
question to you, right? So, if you have to put, I know the system would cost thousands. They spend $300,000 on a CCTV. You'd think they'd fucking spend some money on thingy. Who would you, if you had to do a video, like a war cry video to get people into the mood? What video or what goals would you put in it? Because I don't know. I mean, Mike's one
wouldn't
there.
bother.
We are not Charlton. I mean, that video what I've played on here, I'm not going to play it now. But that Netflix video some kid did, that was quite good because it was okay. There was Bradshaw's goal in there and fucking Cahill's and all that, but it was like it had a process of where it led you on a journey, and then it crescendoed up and it brought you right up, and then it went and it sort of took you on a journey. The videos they play there don't seem to take you on a journey. Do they? Am I not wrong?
No,
And also,
I
you can't
stand them.
fucking hear it. A lot of the time, if you're on certain parts of the ground, you can't actually hear it because of the noise around the other parts. I mean, if you're in the south, you can't really hear that video, can you?
No, you can't. And the noise that you do hear is just muffled. It's just noise that's just amalgamated together. We received a tweet from Harry Sims on Twitter. You posted out earlier about that was one of the topics of the show. And his tweet here, the only thing that should be played out on the big screen before the match is a picture of JB. Now, I'm not suggesting that's going to get everybody massively motivated, but he's the reason we are where we are, and we've had, I don't want to say success, we've had relative success. We've stabilized the club, and we had been progressing. Just put something of JB, fine, something to do with him. Maybe that might spur on the players and fans alike. But all the stuff that they're doing at the moment, it's not Millwall. It's not right. We didn't need a war cry when we played Huddersfield in the playoffs all those years ago. All we needed was Robbo giving the players the team talk of a lifetime, and it fired the players up. We didn't need that when we beat other teams at the Den. You don't
All
need
right.
it now.
I'm going to ask you a question, okay, on this questionnaire. Who was the sponsor?
Couldn't tell you.
Stephen?
No idea.
If you know who it is in the comments, then put it in the comments. But I don't think anyone's going to know who it was.
No, they didn't. They didn't tell you who the sponsor was. They just said the man in the match this afternoon chosen by the sponsors is Brook Norton Coffee.
Yeah, but they would have said the sponsors are, that Millwall podcast are today's match sponsor, and their man of the match is XYZ. They would have told you it. But this is what I'm saying to you.
Can I just interrupt there? I'm trying to find it on Twitter. What's really funny is that they have tweeted out, the club's account have tweeted out, vote using your Millwall profile to cast your man of the match. So Brook Norton Coffee was
purely down to the fact that someone's paid $5,000 or $3,500, $2,500, whatever it is, to be a match sponsor, and that obviously because of that they get to do. But do you know what the madness is? So now what we've got, if you're in the 1885 lounge, you get to vote who your man of the match is. Okay, before or at the end, you get to do it, and then that man of the match comes up to the lounge and has a little thank you and picks up the man of the match trophy. You then you've got sponsor making man of the match, and us fans making man of the match. Go on their website, mate, and vote Leonard as man of the match. Start playing with it. Do you know what I mean? Don't vote for the person you think, who's been outshining. Vote for someone who possibly hasn't, and just start playing with it. Rebel.
I have just looked on the Millwall Twitter feed, and usually a lot of the time, I don't know if we've done it in the past, but a lot of clubs, if they've got a match sponsor, when they post out like the graphics of the team and the stuff that's going on, they go sponsored by Fred Blogs, whatever. I can't see anything. On the website as to who's sponsoring the team. But again, look, a lot of the things we've all spoke about the club being sanitized. We've all spoke about the powers that be are trying to change the club and are trying to attract a different type of fan and doing this, that, and the other.
Yeah, I've got that.
All of this, all of that stuff is trying to take the club in a different direction that we don't need to go into, in my opinion. Put in an announcement that someone's just put in there that they need the income to get around financial fair play. I agree 100%. We need to make the club sustainable. But reading the team out before the game, which is completely thrown off, everyone in the crowd went, "What are they doing? What's going on?" Producing a video on the screen, that doesn't generate income. It doesn't. No. People look at it and go, "I've got
the video. I've got the best video before the game. Do you want to know what it is?
Go for it.
F-Troop are the real nutters.
And I'm not going away for some dirty northern punts to spit all over me. If he spits over me, I'll put a fucking pint glass in his head.
That's the video. That's the video to play. Part of that, and then everyone's up, ready for it, and off we go. That's it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. It's madness, isn't it?
Go on, Dan. I feel like I've gone on a massive rant about
that. I do agree with a lot of the points you said. I think London Calling has to go on straight before the players walk out the tunnel. I did see a comment there about Hey Jude. I am a little bit 50-50 about Hey Jude, to be completely honest. It does sometimes get the crowd going, but depending on the attendance and sometimes it can just get the away. Sometimes all I can hear is just the away fans singing it sometimes.
What's that? Hey Jude?
Hey Jude, yeah.
I think Hey Jude isn't our song. It's too
generic, isn't it?
On the subject of sponsors, I've found an article before the Coventry game. Millwall posted on their website with Service Graphics, and they did like a Q&A. They asked them a couple of questions, and they were the match day sponsor. There isn't anything perhaps I can't find anything for this Saturday that of a similar post. So maybe there wasn't one. But again, look, I don't want to keep bashing the club, but I think that you want to get the fans excited, and you want to. And I know they're talking about going in the same direction, but the ultimately Millwall fans turn up on a Saturday to support their team, and they want a team to get behind.
Frankie's nailed it on the head. Frankie Long this is statement. This is fucking complete and utter fucking perfect. Are you ready? Sympathise with the club needing money, needing to make money, maybe have some fucking scarves in the club shop on the 1st of December. How many tourists would have left the club shop without spending a penny?
I did see a lot of tourists wearing hats yesterday, so scarves probably sold out, and they probably had to go for the next best thing.
But the geezer at the end of the park, the geezer up near the church, he always has scarves. So he must be making a roaring trade, because people walk past him and think, no, I'll get an official one. Walk in the club shop, nothing in there, and then walk back up to him and buy some from him.
Yeah.
Drop in the comments. Should we drop?
A comment.
Hey Jude, I think. Yeah, that's a good talking point. Should we drop Hey Jude?
Yeah, should we drop Hey Jude? And also, we really can't be doing Play Sweet Caroline as well, can we?
No, I can't stand that. I can't stand it anymore.
I think Tunbridge MSC. I agree with you. I think Blue Shine Boys should come back for the older boys. Yeah, that used to be played at Millwall.
I think personally, for me on Hey Jude, I think for the big games like the sellout ones, possibly.
No,
you don't even think for that. Maybe
because it's not even our fucking song.
Yeah, I know, but I've just like the time we sang like Hey Jude, for me, like the ones that stick with me against like Everton and Leicester, they were like proper electric, like Millwall atmospheres. That's why I have good memories from them. But playing it against like Rotherham on a Wednesday night, like, does that really get anyone going?
No, it doesn't.
I mean, I predict a riot. Yeah,
that comment there, that is exactly what I'm trying to say, and my points on everything we've been talking about. We are not the same as other football clubs. They talk about being unique. They talk about being one of a kind. They talk about, everything about Millwall is we go against the establishment, and we don't like being, shoehorned into the same ilk as other clubs. That is spot on. We don't want to go down. We don't want to play Hey Jude and Sweet Caroline. We want to have our own identity still. And the club don't want it, but the fans do, and that's where the issue is, because they're going in two separate directions.
I completely agree with you. Absolutely. I mean, the music side of it, some days is just too generic. We, like you said there, Sham 69, they're Millwall boys. Let them come. I don't think we should do Hey Jude, because I think everyone. I mean, to be fair. There's a couple of songs. I mean, even with Rocking All Over the World, that seems to be so many clubs now do that same fucking song.
Yeah, but we ain't heard it for months, so it don't really make that much of a difference. It'd
be
be a nice change when we do bloody hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, I accidentally clicked on that one. But no, we definitely shouldn't have flashing lights and flames. The day there's a light show at the Den's the last game I go to down the Den.
Mate, do you know what Peter's going to suggest next is that we need a fucking drummer. I'm only joking. That's the way we're going. Play exciting football is the only way to create an atmosphere. Absolutely. Yeah, didn't we used to have Millwall like something? I can't remember didn't we have someone Soccer AM once? I know Palace has got their own fucking thingies. So yeah, put in the comments, mate, if what you call it shit. Would you have? Yeah, I mean, David said I'd ditch London Calling too. Bring back I Was Born Under the Cold Blow Lane.
Or I have to. I do like that. London Calling is that to me. It's always been. That's when the games are. The players are just about to come out. That's always been.
Do you know what? I'll post something in a minute, right? And I'll send it to Stephen, I suppose, and then Stephen can stick it up. But I think, because my computer's not thingy, but I'd love to know what songs you would have. What would you have? I've got it on here, so I'll send it in 2 seconds. But I think it's I agree with them, mate. House of Fun should be played because it's Welcome to the Lion's Den, and it's also quite a good song as well. I mean, what else would you put in? I don't know.
I just think that I just personally, I just think that with everything that's going on at the moment, there's so much change. There's so many from everywhere, from the top, right at the board level to the coaching staff. We now haven't got a manager; it's a head coach. We've got, there's a whole cleansing going on, if you will. The players are trying to play a different style of football. They're changing the match day routines. There's just too much going on, and it's almost as if they're trying to be everything that, or come away from everything that made us successful. Let's be honest, and the guys in the chat. I'm going to come on to the FA Cup now. When Leicester turned up, 2017, and Watford and Bournemouth, and we've had Everton down there. What got us over the line? What got us over the line was that a lot of those players, Ben Chilwell being a prime example, they were intimidated. They didn't know how to deal with the atmosphere. They didn't like it up, and they didn't like that. If we drew a Premier League side, I know we haven't, and we'll come on to that, but if we drew a Premier League side, they wouldn't care that they were coming to play Millwall at the moment. They really wouldn't. It wouldn't make a blind bit of difference of them, and that's the problem.
100%. I don't think anyone fears us at the moment.
No,
I don't think anyone fears us at all at the moment, and I think that is the big problem because of it.
Are we going to address that and the main talking points between of drawing Leicester in the FA Cup? What it means for us?
It means they probably beat us 3 times in one season. It means we have another less thing to worry about in our potential relegation battle.
Yeah, and go on. You haven't said it yet.
I don't know. What is it? Go on. You caught me off
It's
guard.
an easy 10 points for all of our season ticket holders, because they're going to charge a tenner for the ticket, and it's an easy 10 points for season ticket holders.
It's a buy the ticket. Forget you've got about it until the morning of the game and decide A, if you've got anything better to do, and B, if you can be bothered to go.
It's just not inspiring, is it?
No.
I mean, the whole FA Cup draw as a whole, I know, we talk about Millwall, but apart from the Sunderland Newcastle tie, which is amazing, by the way, it's just boring, really, isn't it?
What about, hang on then, what about this comment for a bit of half-time entertainment down the Den? Pre-match will be a struggle, but I think half-time, this could be perfect.
We should be allowed to try and put the Lion-Nose in the bin, whoever does it first.
Stephen, I've sent you a link here because you can put it on there because you've probably got the same one there. But yeah, just put it onto the YouTube chat. Yeah, basically, I've just done a playlist, Millwall at Home playlist, and just listen. It's on Spotify. Just go on there. Make sure you follow us, but just go on there and just add the songs you think should be on the playlist at the beginning.
Yeah, we have been trying this. What about this for a suggestion? Anyone?
I'm gonna, if I can, I'm just gonna put up a comment, and just I'm not going in order, but I'm just gonna put this one up from Peter. Why are we sounding so gloomy? Come on, lads. Peter, I'll be honest, and I'm gonna directly answer this question. I come out of the ground yesterday feeling really disappointed that we hadn't won the game, but it was a very good performance, and it is something to be proud of. My problem and my rant and me being gloomy is the fact that we love our club. We're Millwall fans. We've seen the good times. We've seen some bad times, but it doesn't feel like going to Millwall anymore. What it did, it just doesn't feel the same. I love going.
I don't think that's just now, though. I think realistically that's been changing over probably the 4 or 5 years.
possible, but now it's really come to the forefront
even
because the whole change, the whole club's changing. We've got a new owner, we've got a new manager, we've got a new head coach, we've got a new style of football. We've got all this new stuff. We've gone to fanatics. I just don't want us to lose the identity and come away from what makes us who we are.
I'm going to Chris. I mean, Chris Brown, you've been going a while. I know, and obviously, I know you. I've met you a few times and all that lot. But I just think even our own fans have changed there now. I don't, it's not just. I don't think it's just the tourists, the day trippers, all of that. I think our fans are changing. I understand that we're not the same support what we had in the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, etc. I understand that, but I think football as a whole has changed, and I think what's happening at Millwall is something I don't think any of us want Millwall to be sanitised, but it's sort of being done on the QT as such. It's sort of being done by default.
Well, it's being done because the powers that be are deciding that this is the way we're going to go. Someone, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Omar who said this, that the club are now in a position where we have Joe Edwards might not be the manager forever, but we're gonna go down the route of players that have to play a certain way. We're even trying to change that. It's not the manager. We're adopting a style of football, and that's just the way that it's going to be. And the next person that comes in will have to try and do the same thing. It seems a bit doom and gloom, and I actually thought, I didn't expect much from the game yesterday. I begrudgingly said a score draw, which it turned out to be as a prediction. It's just sorry, I've just seen a comment. Peter, I was absolutely frozen yesterday. So yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it was very cold.
It was outrageous.
It's only going to get colder as well. It is going to be very cold for Huddersfield.
We just need a little bit of excitement from the team, and we need to. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday, Dan, you'll vouch. We were there together. That atmosphere, that feeling, and the fans, that all the other fans who are listening to this, who were there, that was unbelievable. And it just felt. I think you even said we're back. It was such a great feeling,
didn't it?
It did. It really, really did. And unfortunately, it's not quite gone how we thought it would. There's still time, and I fully back Joe Edwards. But I just want to see us. Be a bit nasty on a match day. Like, they were flying into tackles yesterday, the Sunderland players. Ballard could have had a red. Jack Clark could have had a red.
Should have had a red.
Yeah, well, should have had a red. Only Murray Wallace. Murray Wallace made one tackle, I think, in the second half that was a bit of a crunching tackle. That's just,
Then again, the ref probably would have sent us off for tripping one of them up. The rate you started dishing out the cards at the second half.
Well, yeah, that's
someone
true.
definitely had over 6.5 bookings and realised he was falling short on them.
Yeah, the ref.
Yeah,
must have been. Some of the bookings he was dishing out yesterday were
shocking. Some of them were proper shocking. Do you know what I mean? I remember that. That used to be played in the early 2000s, didn't it? Where everyone just went into it. So yeah.
There's another comment that's coming up again. Oh.
No, it's me. Take me out. Why did you put me in?
I didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
Sorry about this, listeners.
I didn't. All it come up on my screen that there was a guest.
Yeah, so you ended it.
No. Yeah, sorry guys.
Apologies for some technical difficulties over here.
Yeah, Millwall HQ. But do you know what? I've completely lost my train of thought.
No, so have I. So
I'm gonna bring up something else that I wanted to talk about.
Let's hear it.
This is specifically for a couple of people that I know listen to the show, I'm going to talk about Murray Wallace. Now, I've had apparently a little bit of a reputation with a few of the listeners and a few people that I just give Murray Wallace an absolute bashing every week.
Crikey, if you do it, then God knows what they think of me.
Now, yesterday, we set up perfectly in a defensive shape. We had obviously Leonard and Murray Wallace at right and left back, and they had Honeyman and Norton Cuffey to help them. And Honeyman did a very good job of protecting Murray Wallace. Murray Wallace had a better game by a long way than what he had in the other two. However, I do just think it's unfortunately Murray's time at the club is coming to an end. And whilst I don't want to, again, I hate slugging off players to a huge degree, but he did play well. He played reasonably well yesterday. He didn't look as out of his depth as a couple of other games. But I think it's time for Murray to be shown the door.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a bold statement, young Stephen.
He had help.
I think I agree with
you. So
he had help from Honeyman yesterday. He did, but I'm still not convinced.
And then when Honeyman went off, granted they just brought on Patrick Roberts, but I thought
but we brought on Ryan Longman.
That's what I mean. Obviously, it was a combination of substitutions. But I thought he came on Roberts and kind of took that creative burden off Clark a little bit for them. They just lacked a striker, really.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? So I saw someone say that they come to us, they didn't have a striker, and they still managed to come away with a draw. That's how disappointing it was.
David Turner hits it on the thingy there, mate. That's definitely what it is.
That's bang on. That is absolutely.
We are. I mean, I've banged on about it for ages. You are about customer. It's all about spend per head now, and it goes from there.
Let's go back to the Murray Wallace point as well quickly. Go on, Mickey, you jump in there.
No, I'll highlight that. We'll come back to Dan's one in a minute. Go on.
I was just going to say Murray Wallace. He's been here since Harris, so he's been at the club for a while now, hasn't he? He's seen a lot, and I just think since he won Player of the Year, was it 2 seasons ago now? He's just it's just been downhill for him there since. And now he's only getting older. It's just going to be more and more of a problem the longer he stays around. I'm not saying he's been shit for the 6 years he's been here for, however long he's been here for, but I just think that he needs to move on, and we need to. And
what also happens as well, he'll have a really good game or two, and it's kind of like, okay, and he kind of draws you back in and think, right, okay, he's not done yet, and then he'll have another bad one and then a good one. I think at the end of the season, and I'm sure we're going to discuss this a lot, and I think towards the end of the season, we're definitely going to have a lot of discussions about the changing in the squad. But there's a lot of players that are probably within their last season with the club.
Yeah, 100% we are having to. I'm just going to put Mark's comment back up on the screen here. 100% we are having to double up on the left-hand side to cover Murray Wallace.
Yeah,
we are, definitely. And I think that's the problem is that why are we not dropping him?
Because we have no one else. Clearly, he doesn't fancy Malachi yet, and Brian's made of twigs.
There was while we're talking about Wallace and all that, I mean, Edwards done that. I don't even know why. I mean, I don't even really know why Richard Cowley posted it, to be fair. It seemed sort of, I don't know, it seemed a bit of a strange piece to post because it wasn't that big, to be fair. Let me just grab it up and put it.
It's likely what he just said post-match after the game.
Pretty much.
Said to him, first transfer window. Obviously, you would have spoken to the club about it in the interviews. What are you anticipating being able to do?
Yeah, Joe Edwards has indicated that Millwall will not make any major overhaul of their playing squad in the January transfer window. Championship clubs can begin doing business from the start of next month. It will be Edwards' first window as Lions head coach after recently succeeding. There's a filler there. But definitely won't be big changes to the squad, said the former Chelsea and Everton coach. Firstly, we know that January is a difficult market anyway, and if there are players who can come in and make an impact, I think we'll always be looking for that. I'm someone who's got a big history around players who go on loan, and I've got contacts at clubs. So if there are any options to bring in players who can help us, then yeah, it certainly won't be big change. It's a case of seeing how we can get through the next period as well. We might be enforced to do stuff if we lose players, but at this stage we are having discussions and we have a list of options. My biggest fear is that potentially, if we carry on playing like we are, our club's going to want to give their youth to him.
I think so. I don't see. Look, you're not going to get like an absolute wonder kid. They will obviously go to perhaps better teams or those that can pay more bigger percentage of the wages. But I do think that, I mean, all you'd have to look at really is Brooke Norton-Cuffy. He's played a lot of games. We've also triggered in his contract, he had to play a certain amount of games, which would mean that Arsenal can't call him back.
Really good news, because I did think they might have done it and just maybe put him to a team that's maybe a bit higher up. So.
Yes, like they did last season from Rotherham to Coventry. So, you know, Norton-Cuffy will be here now for the duration of the season, which is, again, Dan, I agree. I think it's really good news. So they'll look at, and the history that we've had, you know, Harry Kane, I know, again, you can't just keep going back to one player, but had a really successful loan spell here and speaks very, very highly of his time at the club, or has done in the past. So I do think there'll still be players and youth team managers or under 23 managers that would go, actually, yeah, that would be a good move. It's just, for me, it's, if we're not going to bring in, and this might be a little bit early for this conversation, but if we're not going to bring in lots of players and say we're only going to get two, in your opinion, Dan, right now, what two positions do we need to be filling?
A winger. I don't know what side that winger plays on, but a winger and a left back. I would say they're the two most important positions that we need. Left back, just because we can barely field a left back at the minute. And Brian, again, like Murray Wallace, he's only getting older. Brian's the wrong side of 30 now. And yeah, I just don't think that we can continue with Murray Wallace, because Brian, I think it's his second or third injury already, and a winger, just because we desperately lack a natural winger when we have pace. Our commitment to making every single counter-attack so slow is quite impressive, to be completely honest, overall.
Absolutely, I couldn't have put that better. Just for the listeners, the guys that are in the chat, if you could pick two positions that you think that you would like us to bring in a lone player in each of the positions, but you could only pick two, what are they? And
on our current loanees, do you think Campbell or Longman will be recalled? Obviously, we know Norton-Cuffy can't now. Or do you think the club might choose to send either of them back if they can?
I would send realistically, I would send Campbell back. Longman, I don't know in a minute.
I don't rate Longman. I
don't either. I mean, to be honest, why don't we send them both back and get Alex Mitchell in back?
Recall Alex Mitchell, yeah.
And then look for, I don't know. I mean, do we look at a couple? Do we look at using some of the youth and bedding them into the defence? And, you know, try and do a place there so we don't have to necessarily fill there. Then look for a couple of maybe attack-minded midfielders, proper attack, proven attack.
Are you talking maybe wider players or like wingers? Yeah.
Players what can run with the ball.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, we'll pop a few of these comments up on the positions that people want.
The only issue I have with sending Alan Campbell back, and again, I know I said at the start of the show that I've not seen enough from him and I wouldn't pick him. If Denoy is out for any length of time, if you send back Campbell, then you have to go and bring in a midfielder. You have to do that, which again, we probably could get better, but you run the risk of, you know, we thought we were getting Nisbet last January, and all of our transfer planning went into that, and at the last minute it fell through, and we just signed anybody that was available.
Yeah.
So I'd have a slight concern with that. If Denoy is going to be okay, then yes, I think Campbell could go back and the funds could be used elsewhere.
Just on what the Lion Blue has said here, I think those two positions are probably valid points as well. I just think that left back and winger is probably more pressing, to be completely honest, especially now in terms of centre half options. Now we're playing with two centre halves rather than three centre halves. Cover there isn't that important. Now, that's not to say if Leeds came to us and said you can have Charlie Cresswell on loan for the second half of the season, I wouldn't take him, because if they did say that, I'd drive him up there and go and bring him back down. I don't have a problem with that. But I just think personally for me, left back and winger would be more priority positions.
Well, we allowed 5 low knees, didn't we?
So you're allowed 6 low knees, but you can only have 5 in a match day squad, which just seems a bit weird.
So realistically, we've got to, we're going to have to get rid of the ones who aren't really doing a lot,
so we've got
so that we can get ones in
2 spots realistically, yeah. And then I think Luton might even just recall Campbell, to be honest, and just send him off elsewhere. He might want to go back to Scotland as well.
Plus, as well, you touched on a good point earlier. We could also potentially call back a couple of our own loan players.
So who have we got out? Ockley,
it's Alex Mitchell
right.
and Ockley are the two that I'm thinking of. Right, yeah, but that would be to loan him out to someone else where he's actually
I wonder if this is a viable solution is for us if we want to get a centre off back in. I'd prefer to have Alex Mitchell because he's older, got more first team experience.
Also out of contract. Out of contract end of the season.
He signed a new one actually. Just before he went out on loan, he signed a new one.
Who's that?
Alex Mitchell.
Yeah, he did. They announced the contract and him being loaned out on the same day.
My mate who he's a Millwall fan, but he lives in Lincoln, so he goes to a lot of the Lincoln games, and he says Alex Mitchell's been one of their best players so far this season. I wonder if a viable solution is to bring Alex Mitchell back, and Okole's loan is actually up in January, so I wonder if they maybe want to get him playing higher. Could you maybe just send him to Lincoln as a sweetener and just say, look, we want Mitchell back, but you can have him to just go in and replace him straight away?
Yeah, possibly. I wouldn't be against. I mean, obviously, Ockley is coming back in January, so there's going to be a decision made. But you certainly, out of the two, would be looking at playing Alex Mitchell in our team and giving Ockley a chance to go somewhere else and play league football. But again, that also would perhaps fill a position like a lot of the guys have said. We need a centre back.
Yeah,
that could be that solution, and then you can go and loan in different positions.
And then we could loan in a left back winger and a striker potentially,
and maybe loan out a few of the other youth teams to start getting them bedded in lower league to get them ready.
Is there a shout? We spoke about 20-minute players earlier, and I would actually I think this could be an interesting talking point. Is there an argument to send out Essa and Amaku potentially on loan because they're not playing that much, and as we've kind of highlighted, they're 20-minute players. Is there an argument for it? Maybe.
Where would you put them in League One?
You could.
I think League
2?
One. I think League One players. If you are going to loan them out, I think they're League One players.
I also think a certain guaranteed player to be leaving us on loan in the January transfer window has to be Adam Malachi. If he's not playing in this team when we're struggling at left back, he's never going to get in this year.
I think he might need to look for a League Two or maybe
that's fine.
A National League. I don't have a problem with that. He's 18. He's got plenty of time to grow.
But you can't be having problems at left back and having a left back sit on the bench and not even getting 10 minutes to football. So he's one that certainly will be going out the door on loan.
Yeah, I'm still working through. We need centre. So centre half seems to be a common. Go back to
that. Yeah. I think he's hit a nail on the head. Listen, right? It's against Leicester. Realistically, we're looking at the league is much more important this season where we are and what we're doing than the FA Cup. Yes, the FA Cup will be a nice lump of money. I get that, but who would you feel more comfortable playing? A load of youth or the main team?
Well, in an FA Cup game, I'd rather play the youth players. Again, league's more important. We love a cup run, but league is more important. And why would you want to risk an injury to a potential player that's going to play week in week? Why would say as if that's the Nor's first game back? Why would we want to risk him doing his ACL and then being out for the rest of the season?
Or
Also-
imagine Leonard playing and getting out, being knocked out for 2 months in a game that don't really matter.
Also, do you know it's going to be a good one? Is when we play Leicester, we'll be able to see the difference in atmosphere between the last time we played them and when we play them this time. How different the Den will be.
The problem is, Mickey, is the fact that the Den will only have 2 stands open because they probably won't bring an awful lot, and we're not going to sell that many tickets. So we're only going to have them.
Do we play them in like February again in the league as well, down at the Den?
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah,
I think it's
there
some.
you go.
I think we play them 3 times in the space of 2 months, don't we?
Oh, brilliant! I look forward to that then.
I think we've got the FA Cup. When's the FA Cup? January the 5th.
Yeah,
when's the FA Cup? January 5th. Yeah. So we've got them before Christmas, haven't we?
Yeah,
we've got them before Christmas there.
In
then
11
we play them
days'
after.
time.
Yeah, so we play them in 11 days' time, and then we play them again after Christmas, and then we play them again in February.
Just out of interest on the topic of Leicester, any of the listeners currently, are you going to Leicester?
Yeah,
if
Leicester
you are,
away.
you probably will see me looking like, and I use a quote from earlier, that I've built an igloo because it's probably going to be freezing and I'm going to be wrapped up. So if you're coming to Leicester, there's a few of us going.
Yeah, I'm
going to
be there. Ben's coming down from. It'll be tropical for him, won't it?
I think Omar did say. I think he's with it.
He was thinking about it. So. I think it was Cardiff or Leicester. So I think we'll just wait and see. Would Arsenal be willing to sell Cuffy on the cheap? I mean, that's something probably from the end of the season. I don't know.
I don't know about on the cheap though, because he's an England under-21 international. So, but he won't make the Arsenal team. It's certainly one I think I would be interested to see if there was a deal that could be done. Could we potentially look at that? But again, that'd be the end of the season job.
This is my only concern with loaning out Essa and Amaku. We are going to be short on players. But if they're just going to sit on our bench, is there an argument that they should go? Very possibly.
I would be more inclined to loan out Amaku than I would to loan out SA.
I think I would as well, yeah.
I mean, listen, we're saying loans. We could end up losing SA in January.
Well, yeah.
There we go. We've got a couple of Leicester people here. We've got Rosalind. We've got Peter's coming in, and he'll help you build that igloo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Callum,
Callum,
you just take a warm jacket.
Well,
I did.
Yeah.
I was wrapped up, mate.
And on the subject of Callum going to Stoke, definitely take a couple of warm jackets, mate, because that's the coldest football ground I've ever been to, and you're going 2 days before Christmas. So wrap up warm. Whatever.
And it's a midweek. That's a midweek.
No, it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday.
Nice. Yeah, Saturday the 23rd.
Oh, okay.
Quite a few people, Sam, wouldn't be able to afford a coffee even if he was available on the cheap.
Probably that's the thing, isn't it? It depends on the fees. That was an interesting point. Ballard, who I actually thought Dan Ballard had an okay game. I think he was lucky to stay on the pitch. I thought he was okay yesterday, and it would have been someone you look at and go, it'd be nice to have him in our team, wouldn't it?
Didn't think much of his centre-back partner, though.
Oh God, no! They hate him though. He's been absolutely
09, yeah. He's just there because he still plays a part in the documentary, innit?
Oh mate,
so did Honeyman though. To be fair, Honeyman was quite a big part of that as well, wasn't he? How many under 21s? Fuck the rules. We'll play who we want.
Isn't it a case of you're only allowed to make a certain amount of changes from your last league fixture?
I don't know.
I
genuinely have no idea.
Didn't you say somewhere before, Dan, that you can't change your registered players, or is it a registered player can only play for 2 teams?
Player can only play for 2, or they can only be in the match day squad for 2 teams. So, just an example, I'm going to put out a thin air here. So, Travers, who was on loan at Stoke from Bournemouth, got recalled on an emergency basis, went into the match day squad for Bournemouth as their backup goalkeeper. If Bournemouth want to reloan him out again come the January transfer window, he can only go to Stoke. If he doesn't go to Stoke, he can't play. If he goes somewhere other than Stoke, he can't play any games.
Right. Okay. I'll go. Yeah.
So after
But that
Ipswich.
doesn't. I don't think the 21s. I don't think the under 21 because they're Clark. Then that's not about being registered though, is it? Like
I'm not entirely sure if it's different for youth players or not.
No, I don't know.
After Ipswich, no way am I doing any evening aways if it is -5. I don't blame you, Chris.
Chris, that Ipswich was awful. It was awful, wasn't it?
Who would want to buy SA? He can't get into a poor side. Well, he's playing for England at the youth level, so a lot of potential.
And a lot of people buy off potential, though. People buy off potential, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, we keep talking about that. We've, there's been rumours that Liverpool are interested and stuff like that. So, I mean, there is to January question is who? Cressy and Moore?
Kiefer Moore won't come to Millwall.
I think he's going Cardiff, isn't he? He wants to
I
finish
think he's
his
nailed
career
on
at
Cardiff. Yeah. I've spoke to a few people, and he's not coming to Millwall.
Because if he wanted to come, he would have come.
That is it. If Kiefer Moore wanted to come to Millwall, he would be at Millwall right now. It wasn't.
But the question is, would he have come to Millwall with Edwards if Edwards was here then?
That's the big question, isn't it? That's the $1 million question. It shows the club are a bit more open to loan deals. Sorry, Stephen, we keep jumping in, but I think it shows the club are a little bit more open to loan deals, considering
but they have to
another
be,
loan deal.
Because I just don't think they've got the money.
That's right, and this is what I'm saying. The players that come in are going to be exactly like when Joe Edwards' name come out of nowhere for the managerial job. They're going to be players we don't think of, we might have not heard of, or we're never going to be on our radar. They're going to be players.
Yeah,
I believe that Edwards is working on a couple of loan deals, and he has probably spoke to some of his clubs. But you're going to sign someone, and you're going to go. You're never ever going to know who it is.
Yeah. No, I do that. I agree with that. So I think that's pretty much it. We ain't got a midweek game this week, have we?
No. So
Friday night, there'll be probably a midweek show digging in deep into Saturday's game and probably looking in close to the weekend's game. But obviously we'll be back on Friday night live without Stephen.
Can I also say I'm going to be on the EFL debate later this week on Wednesday night with Gab Sutton. For those of you who are familiar with that name or the show, I'm going to be on there Wednesday night.
Yeah, we'll give it a retweet anyway. He's a good lad, Gabs. I remember Gabs many, many years ago when he was first starting out, coming on when I used to be with the AMS channel, and he came out on there. So yeah, Tony, thank you very much for that. Where is it? That one, isn't it? I do feel a bit like it today. I've just not really done that much, and I do feel fucking absolutely. I think it's just.
You're the leader, mate. You're the leader.
FA Cup draw at the Den this Tuesday.
They've got a youth game. I don't know. Who are they playing? I can't remember who they're playing. It's only a £5 a ticket, though.
Yeah, Daily Mill will tell us in a second.
Yeah.
I heard
game-changing signings here.
To get Banny and Malone back.
I'll just say, Malone is absolutely adored by Gillingham fans. I don't know what he's done to be adored there, but they absolutely love him.
Football in League 2.
I know he's playing football in League 2.
That's an invite, isn't it? Millwall versus Barking.
They've made Conor Mahoney look like he's Conor Mahoney versus Luton on a weekly basis in League 2. So,
he's been playing very well. He's been playing very well, Conor Mahoney. But again, it's League 2.
Yeah, I actually saw. I didn't style the comments, so I can't go back and through it. But someone said we need Rowett or Harris to get to be in jobs at the moment to be able to fob some of our players off.
That's it, isn't it? And this is the thing. Again, this is a topic for another day. But a lot of our players don't have any value. They don't have a resale value. They don't have this. You've not got other clubs desperately after some of our players. So, we are reliant on someone in League 1 and 2 desperately needing a position that we're trying to desperately offload.
Realistically, Wallace ain't going to go before the end of the season.
No, none of those.
Nobody in their right mind is buying Murray Wallace. We've just got to wait for his contract to expire or pay off the rest of his contract.
Mate, I do smoke cigars, Chris, but I don't smoke them inside the house. But yeah, they're
Just so people know what the
yeah,
content.
I do smoke them. But no, if NASA would like to send me a shell suit, then yeah, I'll have it. Do you know what I mean? I just need to
Then get it
Elon
on
Musk.
eBay after.
I just need to get Elon Musk on and order pizza, don't I? Then that's it. We're made, isn't it? What's the pizza we made? I watched the other day with him. It's anchovy and pineapple. Very strange. But what I would like to know is on the back of his show, how many people went out and ordered anchovies and double anchovies, double pineapple on pizzas.
Loads.
That's Danny. Danny, that's a good shout there, mate. Would you have Harris back as a scout?
No. I'm not having. I think there might be a time for Harris in the future, probably as a manager, maybe. But right now, no.
Really? What for us?
Maybe.
Really?
Maybe.
Are you fucking on drugs or something?
No. I just think you look at like what happened when Harris came in after Holloway and the way he just united the club again. I just think like that could be like a second coming from again to do kind of exactly the same thing. I think something like that might happen in the future as someone that the club might need MFC to call him up.
I could see Harris as the director of football.
The club might just need someone to call up who they can bring in at short notice.
I could see Harris
jump at the chance.
I don't know about that. I mean, I could see Harris as a director of football, maybe. That I could go with and go, actually, that's not a bad call. But I just couldn't do. I just don't think. I think it would ruin his legacy if he come back as a manager. Yeah, I mean, John Perrott there. Look, rather have Harris more than Aldo.
Here's a good question. Here's a good question.
I asked this at the ground. I was talking about this at the ground yesterday. It is Saville. Saville is the only one.
Can anyone remember the last player we sold to a championship side for real money? Well, yes and no, really.
Does it have to be a championship side? Like, didn't we get $1 million for Tyler? Well, I don't know how much we got for Tyler Bury.
Just a quick question. Just a quick question, Frankie. You follow boxing as well, don't you? I mean, I'm just saying that so I don't give away your Twitter profile, but I think I know exactly who you are. We've had communications and stuff, I think, or chatted on DMs and that. I think you're the same person. Saville did get sold, but I think it was in installments, and I think when we took him back,
did we write off the last little bit?
I think we wrote off the lot, so I don't think we got as much as he was originally sold for.
That's true, but we still did get like 5.5 to 6 million.
I think it was about 6 million, and we paid about $1 million to bring him back. That's what I heard.
8 million, I thought we got for him, didn't we?
7.
Or was it 7? Fucking hell! You just said 5, 4, 6. I said 8. You went 7.
No, I'm certain we got 7 million for him, and then we got 6 from Middlesbrough, and then because he wanted to come back due to family and stuff, then that's when he came in.
Jackett's a good call.
He's at Gills' director of football now at the minute. If he does well at Gills, then by all means, I wouldn't mind him maybe back as a director of football here.
I don't know about this one as good scout. I heard he played at quite a top level in goalkeeping.
Maybe a new goalkeeper coach then.
Yeah, maybe.
On that subject, one thing I would say about Andy Marshall, right? On Saturday.
Oh, don't pretend you saw this. You've nicked this straight off Twitter.
Yeah. I have nicked it off Twitter. I have nicked it off Twitter. I'm not. I was going to say on Saturday.
It wasn't until you said it, Dan.
No. If you finish. There was a guy who said that Andy Marshall got all of the goalkeepers to look up at the screen when they showed the highlights of the Millwall Sunderland game to show them how good he was, and also that he was probably about 10 stone lighter back then as well. But that was the only thing I would say. That was quite cool because he's obviously really proud that he was the goalkeeper in that team that got us to the FA Cup final. So that was quite cool to hear that story. But other than that was the only good thing to come out of them playing the video. And obviously we see the Tim Cahill goal, but we've all seen it hundreds of times. So
you know, we're gonna see that goal more times than you want to remember next year, because next year is the 20-year anniversary of the FA Cup.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But that, to be fair, for stuff like that, fine, go over the top, do what you want to do. It's the anniversary of it, and it's one of the biggest. Getting promoted to the old first division is probably the number one.
We've been to the FA Cup final twice, haven't we? I think. No. We've been to the semis.
No, I think we've been to the semis a few times. We've only been to the final once. It was only in 2004. So they can show the goal, they can put the shirts out and get Tim Cahill back and do whatever they're going to do. That's fine. But every week, as Dan said, when we're playing Rotherham at home, we don't need to see Tim Cahill's goal against Sunderland. We just don't.
No, I thought there was one. It might be a semi actually. It might be a couple of semis back in. It was the early 1900s when I was in.
No, I think it's the semi-finals, because we also made the semi. Was it the semi-final against Wigan a few years ago?
Yeah, 2013 we made the semi-final.
Sure, yeah. I thought Chris is saying the same. I thought we got to the final in about 1912 or something, 1910. One in Second World versus Chelsea, but it was a North and South. So it was a North and South, and Chelsea beat us, and then they went on. I think they went on to play someone else.
So it's slightly different then, because it's not the FA Cup final.
No, it was the FA. But it's a pre-war. I think it was because of the war. It was, there we go. 1937 was a record break. Because that ain't it. I don't know if that is it actually. No, not the FA Cup. Some other final, wasn't it? Yeah.
No, we've only been to the FA Cup final once, because otherwise, would it have been as, I know, obviously not, if we did it back in the 90s, then, not many people would have been around to see it, but I can't.
1945, it was 1945 league, Football League War Cup South final. We played Chelsea at Wembley, and then, and they beat us 2-0. And then Chelsea contested a playoff against the winners of the equivalent North final. Bolton Wanderers trophy is now on display in the Chelsea Museum at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, I
just one final. I knew I had it in my head of something back in that time, and I couldn't. I know that we had a massive final, semi-finals. I know that. So yeah,
the semi-final appearances in the FA Cup prior to 2004 were 1900, 1903 and 1937. Then we did it in 2004, and then obviously we did it again in 2013 when we played Wigan, and Callum McManaman basically tore us apart.
He ruined our lives.
90,000 people attended at the old Wembley.
Football League War Cup final, there you go.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's what we should do. Fuck Badil and Skinner. We should get you to do it, and also Gary Alexander. See if you can recreate Gary Alexander's amazing volley. So, I think that's it, gents. I think we're pretty much there, mate. That was another great atmosphere at Wembley. Well, at the old Wembley.
It was until the 99th minute or wherever it was. I was only a kid, and it was an absolute heartbreak.
Yeah. It was that. Mike, it was the war one. It was only because I think I got the program, or I was looking at the program the other day to buy it, and I posted it somewhere, and then some other fella went, "Yeah, you might have got to the final, but you got beat," and then from a Chelsea fan, and then we went on and won it. So you might have took 90, you might have been part of the 90,000 crowd, but you fucking lost. But hey ho. Anything you want to say, boys?
Just from me, you touched on it earlier on in the show. Who are you? I'm looking at recording. We're going to want to try and get a few of those recorded. It's 20 questions. It's literally this format. Obviously, it's not live. It's just me. It would be me and yourself. If you're interested in taking part in the interviews, drop me a message on Twitter or email the pod, and we'll sort out a we'll sort out a recording. But yeah, if you're interested, please get in contact.
The email's in the thingy, info@thatmillwallpodcast.co.uk. We will get a Who Are You one or Stephen's one set up shortly for it. And again, Kelly, Danny, those people are, in. I mean, even Daily Millwall, you'll be a good one on there, mate. You must have loads of stories. It's good to have a good mixture between young and old. Obviously, if you've only been supporting Millwall for 3 years, then it's not necessarily going to be that great. But if you've been supporting them, I mean, some of the questions are just like, what's your favourite? What's your favourite ever kit? What's your favourite player? Best memory, etc., etc. And you get some of the good stories, like TT's one, if you've not seen it, which is one what I did probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. But TT, who does the Millwall drive home, he couldn't get a ticket for the Oldham. I think it was the Oldham game. So at home, and he couldn't get a ticket. So basically, he done stewarding at the club and thought that he'd be able to blag his way in, and went to the ground dressed in a shirt and trousers. After obviously all the other stewards had got there, knocked on the door, got let in, and then went round and collected his dad, brought his dad in, and then walked him round the inside, around the stadium, and then basically they disappeared into the stand and watched the game. So yeah. There are things. Yeah, we might have to do that. Andrew. I think that could be quite funny.
Christmas thing?
No, maybe at some point in. I don't know if we could fucking do it now. By the time we all organised to be somewhere, mate, it'd be fucking dark. We'd be playing on fucking Hackney Marsh, mate, in the dark, trying to fucking get a dart ball coming towards you to pull off a. We'd do it, but we wouldn't have the lights, and we'd just tell people, yes, we've done a Gary Alexander volley, but you wouldn't be able to see it. And there's no way I'll be recreating Kale's taking my top off and run around while it's about -4. That ain't going to happen. So yeah. Thank you very much. About a demolition away to Cardiff, we can dream, right? Yeah, no, listen, there's no harm in dreaming. So
we'll get Ben on there to do that for us.
Yeah. I totally agree with you there, Alex. I think Dave Martin is a cunt. So yeah, I think that's it from us. Keep following us. Make sure you subscribe because it helps us with the algorithm within YouTube and gets us in front of more people. Keep an eye on our socials. We are going to keep an eye on the YouTube, our Instagram. If you're not already following us, get on there. There is going to be a couple of competitions going out this week. Sorry, one sec. Yes, they are. They keep pricks like Dave Martin fucking in our minds. So, yeah. Wait a minute.
While you're on a tangent, Mickey, can we just remind people about the 16th as well?
Yeah, I will do. Don't panic. I've got that here. Don't panic. So we are going to do some giveaways. I've got a couple here. Actually. I've got them all here ready to post out. So yeah. So we've got some of these. Obviously, they are still wrapped up, so I'm not going to open them with the Christmas decorations in. Each one has a different image on it. It comes like so. There we go. So one of these, we'll be doing these. We were offering these for sale not long ago, 20 quid a pop. And
you're welcome.
And they're great.
That comment.
And Dan's been the real star host with the most. Yeah, that's it. And then we've got these potentially. These are slightly bigger. And these are, excuse me, it's got my name on it. So we've got quite a few different bits and pieces potentially coming as prizes for next year. So you need to look at making sure that you subscribe and follow us and keep up. So yeah, don't worry, we'll get a special badge for Dan.
And I think
as Stephen's put there. So yeah,
I do think that if I can suggest this, Mickey, that Dan being the host can see us out with an outro and an inspirational message for the listeners for their week before Cardiff.
He can. Listen, gents, we are going to be in Harry's Park on the 16th. If you want to come and have a beer with us, have a chat, we'll obviously be talking about the game. We'll probably video some of it. We'll probably put it out as content. We'll be about, if you want to come and see us, come and see us. I think it is going to be about 4 of us there, maybe 5 of us. But it'll be good.
We'll drag Joe along. We'll get Channel 4 to cancel Married at First Sight, and then he'll come.
Yeah, that's it. And I think it'll be good. It'll be a good show. While Dan's doing his quick monologue out, those of you who are left in the chat, just put, would you like Dan to lead Friday's show?
I don't know if I'm about Friday yet, so I have to wait.
If I say yes, mate, don't fucking stitch me up. So you might just have me. If it is just me, then we're just watching an old game instead, shall we? We'll do that.
We'll take the copyright strike for it. Hopefully everyone has enjoyed listening and being a part of it. As ever, thank you everyone for the comments. It's been great to see everyone still with us after hour and 50. Here we go. I'm getting stitched right up again. Thank you very much. As always, follow us on the old social medias, the YouTube and stuff. And we'll look to get something up in midweek for all of you. And Mickey will retweet from the pod account, but I will also be on Gab Sutton's EFL show on Wednesday evening. But until then, I might be here Friday if I'm around. It's that kind of Christmas party drinking season now, isn't it? So we'll have to wait and see if I'm around. So if I am, then yes, I don't mind hosting if Mickey gives me the power to. So yeah, we'll leave it with that. Bring Mickey back in quickly.